dating can feel like stepping into uncharted waters. It's thrilling, filled with potential, and brimming with opportunities to connect with someone deeply. However, just like any adventure, dangers lurk if you don't navigate carefully. That's why today, we're uncovering 6 red flags you must avoid in dating, all grounded in the ageless teachings of Stoic philosophy. This isn't just about what to avoid, it's about recognizing the patterns that can disrupt your inner peace and emotional stability. Whether it's a subtle warning sign or an obvious red flag, the key is to spot it early and act wisely. Imagine this. You're aboard a ship, and the captain ignores every storm warning. The skies grow darker, the winds pick up, but the voyage continues recklessly. Soon, disaster strikes. This is what ignoring red flags in relationships can feel like. A storm that could have been avoided if you had only heeded the signs. Through the lens of philosophy, history, and real-life stories, we'll explore how to protect your emotional well-being and make choices that align with your values. If you're ready to elevate your dating journey with timeless wisdom, subscribe to Beyond Vision Mindset and join us in unlocking your potential for personal growth and inner peace. 1. Disrespect towards others. Disrespect is a subtle yet powerful indicator of a person's true character. The way someone treats those around them, especially people they perceive as less powerful, speaks volumes. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasized that a virtuous person treats others with dignity and fairness. If someone consistently disregards or belittles others, it is a glaring sign of their deeper values, or lack thereof. Consider the scenario. You're enjoying a dinner date, and everything seems charming. Then, the waiter makes an innocent mistake, perhaps bringing the wrong drink or forgetting an appetizer. Instead of showing understanding or kindness, your date reacts with sharp words, an icy tone, or outright insults. This moment may seem minor, but it reveals an ingrained lack of empathy, patience, and respect. Throughout history, we see countless examples of how disrespect has sown seeds of destruction. One striking case is the downfall of King Louis XVI. His inability to respect or address the struggles of his people led to widespread resentment and ultimately the French Revolution. On a smaller scale, disrespect in a relationship creates a similar dynamic, where one person's indifference to others breeds tension, resentment, and ultimately emotional collapse. Even in the modern entertainment industry, we can see the stark contrast between those who treat others with humility and those who disregard them. Keanu Reeves, for instance, is widely revered not just for his talent but for the way he interacts with everyone around him, whether a co-star or a production assistant. He exemplifies the Stoic idea that true greatness is reflected in how we treat those who can do nothing for us. Meanwhile, stories abound of actors and musicians who burned bridges through arrogance and disdain, leaving behind a trail of broken relationships and tarnished reputations. Let's shift to personal experiences many can relate to. Imagine sharing a moment of vulnerability, perhaps discussing a difficult experience or a cherished dream, only for your partner to respond with indifference or even mockery. These small moments accumulate over time, eroding trust and leaving you feeling unseen and undervalued. Disrespect often hides in plain sight, masked as humor, impatience, or even brutal honesty. But beneath these excuses lies a deeper disregard for your emotions and worth. The Stoics remind us that we are not obligated to tolerate such behavior. Marcus Aurelius once advised, "Associate with those who make you better." This principle is crucial in dating. Surrounding yourself with someone who lifts others up, not tears them down, is not just a preference but a necessity for emotional and spiritual growth. Think of disrespect as a poison. It may enter subtly, through a single dismissive comment or an unkind joke. But left unchecked, it spreads, contaminating the foundation of trust, kindness, and mutual support that every healthy relationship depends on. Respect isn't just about grand gestures or polite words. It's an attitude that must be present in all interactions, big and small. When observing someone's behavior, pay attention not just to how they treat you but how they treat everyone else, the waiter, the stranger on the street, the customer service representative on the phone. These moments are unguarded and often reveal the truth of their character. A person who disrespects others will eventually direct that same energy toward you. If someone consistently belittles, dismisses, or disrespects others, it's time to reconsider their place in your life. The Stoics teach us that our peace is too valuable to be sacrificed to the whims of another's arrogance or insensitivity. Choose relationships that honor and uplift your inner peace. 2. Dishonesty in words and actions. Dishonesty is more than just a red flag. It's a foundational breach of trust that undermines the very fabric of a relationship. According to Stoic philosophy, truthfulness is central to virtue, and living in alignment with the truth is the hallmark of a sound character. When someone lies, whether through words, omissions, or actions, they are revealing a disconnection not only from you but from their own integrity. Imagine the following. You're getting to know someone, and their stories don't quite add up. One day, they claim to be working late, yet their social media shows them at a party. Or perhaps they consistently exaggerate their achievements, painting a picture of a life that feels a little too perfect. These small deceptions may seem harmless at first, but over time, they build a web of distrust that suffocates any chance of genuine connection. Looking back at history, dishonesty has often led to catastrophic consequences. Think of the Watergate scandal, where President Nixon's attempt to conceal the truth led to his downfall. The cover-up, built on layers of deceit, unraveled in such a way that it not only cost him his presidency but also shattered the trust of an entire nation. In relationships, dishonesty works similarly. One lie may seem manageable, but the effort to sustain it often creates a cycle of more lies, ultimately leading to collapse. Even in literature and art, we see dishonesty as a destructive force. In Shakespeare's Othello, the cunning manipulations of Iago, a character driven by deceit, destroy the lives of everyone around him. The tragedy unfolds as trust is eroded piece by piece, reminding us of the devastating effects dishonesty can have on emotional and relational stability. Real-life stories often illustrate this dynamic vividly. Take the case of famous athlete Lance Armstrong. For years, he denied using performance-enhancing drugs, building a persona of invincibility and resilience. But when the truth came out, the admiration people once had for him turned to disappointment and anger. Similarly, in relationships, dishonesty may help someone maintain an illusion for a time, but the eventual revelation of the truth almost always leads to feelings of betrayal and loss. In a personal context, dishonesty doesn't always come in the form of outright lies. Sometimes, it's more insidious, like failing to disclose important details or leading someone on under false pretenses. For instance, someone might pretend to share your values or goals simply to win your affection. But over time, their true nature reveals itself, leaving you to wonder if you ever knew them at all. This type of emotional dishonesty can be even more damaging, as it often feels like a direct assault on your ability to trust your instincts and judgments. The Stoics teach us to value truth and transparency above all else. Epictetus famously said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." In relationships, this means that deception not only hinders trust but also blocks growth for both partners. A person who cannot be honest with you is likely unable to confront their own flaws and weaknesses, which are essential for personal development and a healthy relationship. Dishonesty also erodes the foundation of emotional safety. When you're unsure whether someone is being truthful, it creates a constant undercurrent of anxiety. You find yourself second-guessing their words, actions, and intentions. Over time, this can take a toll on your mental well-being, leading to feelings of self-doubt and insecurity. To detect dishonesty, observe patterns rather than isolated incidents. A single untruth might be a mistake, but repeated instances often point to a deeper character flaw. Pay attention to inconsistencies in their stories, their reluctance to answer straightforward questions, or their tendency to deflect when confronted. These are signs that their relationship with the truth is tenuous at best. Stoic philosophy reminds us that our inner peace is too valuable to compromise for someone who cannot be forthright. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." Aligning yourself with someone who values honesty ensures you remain true to your principles and preserves the integrity of your journey. Dishonesty is a signal to pause, reflect, and ask yourself whether this is the type of relationship you want to build your future upon. A house of cards may stand for a time, but it only takes one gust of wind, or one uncovered lie, to bring it crashing down. Choose truth, for in truth lies strength, stability, and peace. 3. Manipulative behavior. Manipulation is a dangerous red flag that can be challenging to recognize because it often comes disguised as care, concern, or even love. Stoic philosophy teaches us to act with reason and clarity, refusing to be swayed by external forces that disrupt our inner balance. A manipulative partner seeks to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions, often leaving you feeling trapped and doubting your own judgment. Picture this scenario. You share an exciting opportunity with your partner, perhaps a new job or a personal goal you're eager to pursue. Instead of celebrating your achievement, they downplay its significance or subtly guilt you into prioritizing them over your aspirations. This isn't support, it's control. Manipulation is rarely overt. It thrives in subtlety, making you question whether you're imagining things or overreacting. History offers countless examples of manipulation's devastating effects. Consider the rise of totalitarian regimes, where leaders like Joseph Stalin used propaganda and psychological tactics to manipulate entire populations. By distorting reality and fostering fear, they controlled not only actions but also thoughts, creating an environment where people second-guessed their own perceptions. On a smaller scale, manipulative partners use similar tactics, eroding your confidence and autonomy to maintain power in the relationship. Even in classic literature, manipulation is a recurring theme. In Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper, the protagonist's husband insists he knows what's best for her, confining her to a room under the guise of care. His dismissive and controlling behavior gradually drives her to madness, illustrating how manipulation can strip someone of their agency and well-being. In real life, manipulation often takes the form of gaslighting, a term derived from the 1944 film Gaslight, where a husband manipulates his wife into doubting her sanity. A manipulative partner may twist your words, deny things they've said or done, or accuse you of being overly sensitive. Over time, this creates a cycle of self-doubt that leaves you reliant on their version of reality. Music, too, reflects the damage manipulation can cause in relationships. Consider Fleetwood Mac's song Silver Springs, written by Stevie Nicks. The lyrics convey the pain of being controlled and discarded by someone who wielded their influence selfishly. While the song captures heartbreak, it also serves as a reminder of the power in reclaiming your voice and breaking free from manipulative dynamics. Manipulative behavior doesn't always look like hostility. It can come in the form of excessive flattery or grand gestures designed to make you feel indebted. For example, a partner might insist they've sacrificed so much for you, subtly pressuring you to prioritize their needs over your own. This creates an imbalance where your autonomy and desires take a backseat to their agenda. The Stoics remind us that maintaining control over our own minds is essential. Epictetus taught, "You are the master of your own mind." In relationships, this means recognizing when someone is attempting to override your judgment and standing firm in your sense of self. A manipulative partner may also use emotional tactics to isolate you from others, convincing you that friends or family don't have your best interests at heart. This serves to centralize their influence, leaving you more vulnerable to their control. A healthy relationship, by contrast, encourages connections and mutual growth. One way to identify manipulation is to examine how you feel after interactions. Do you often leave conversations doubting yourself, feeling guilty, or questioning your decisions? These emotional cues are signs that you may be under the influence of manipulation. The Stoics advocate for self-awareness and reasoned action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Protecting your inner peace means setting boundaries with those who seek to control or distort your reality." Manipulation thrives in confusion and uncertainty. By recognizing its signs early, you can take decisive action to protect your well-being. Remember, a relationship should be a partnership of equals, not a power struggle cloaked in affection. Choose clarity, honesty, and respect over the false promises of a manipulative dynamic. 4. Lack of accountability. A refusal to take accountability for one's actions is one of the clearest indicators of immaturity and an unwillingness to grow. In Stoic philosophy, accountability is essential to living a virtuous life. A person who cannot own up to their mistakes or shortcomings is not only avoiding personal growth, but also creating an environment of blame and deflection. This behavior erodes trust and creates emotional instability in a relationship. Imagine this. A disagreement arises between you and your partner. Instead of acknowledging their role in the issue, they shift the blame entirely onto you or external circumstances. They might say, "You made me act this way," or, "It's not my fault, I'm just stressed." These statements dismiss their responsibility and place the burden of resolution squarely on your shoulders. Historical examples of a lack of accountability remind us of its destructive potential. One notable case is the infamous Enron scandal, where corporate executives avoided taking responsibility for fraudulent practices, leading to the company's collapse. The refusal to own their actions not only destroyed the organization but also affected countless employees and investors. Similarly, in relationships, avoiding accountability can bring about the downfall of trust, intimacy, and stability. Even in pop culture, we see the consequences of shirking responsibility. Consider the character Tony Stark in the Iron Man films. Initially, Stark is an arrogant genius who avoids taking responsibility for the harm caused by his weapons. However, it's only when he confronts his role in the destruction that he begins to grow, ultimately transforming into a hero. This arc illustrates that accountability is a prerequisite for meaningful change and maturity, qualities essential in any healthy relationship. In personal experiences, a lack of accountability often manifests as denial, excuses, or outright defensiveness. For example, if a partner consistently forgets important commitments, like showing up on time or keeping promises, they may downplay their behavior instead of acknowledging its impact on you. Over time, this pattern creates frustration and resentment, as you feel unheard and unvalued. The Stoics believed that self-reflection and accountability are central to personal growth. Seneca wrote, "It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence." This wisdom encourages us to take responsibility for our actions, acknowledge our faults, and seek improvement. In relationships, this means addressing mistakes openly and working together to find solutions rather than avoiding difficult conversations. A partner who refuses to be accountable often engages in deflection or victimhood. They might exaggerate their struggles to avoid scrutiny or shift focus to your perceived flaws. This tactic not only undermines productive dialogue but also creates a power imbalance where their feelings always take precedence. In modern political contexts, the refusal to take accountability has led to global consequences. Leaders who avoid admitting mistakes, whether through denial or scapegoating, damage not only their credibility but also the trust of those they serve. The same principle applies in relationships. A lack of accountability weakens the bond between partners and fosters an environment of mistrust. To identify this red flag, pay attention to how someone reacts when they make a mistake. Do they apologize sincerely and work to make amends, or do they become defensive and shift blame? Accountability is not about perfection. It's about acknowledging imperfection and striving to do better. The Stoics remind us that we are all responsible for our actions and their consequences. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." Be one. A partner who values accountability demonstrates this principle by admitting when they're wrong, learning from their errors, and actively working to improve. Accountability is the cornerstone of trust and mutual respect in any relationship. Without it, conflicts remain unresolved, and wounds fester. A person who cannot take responsibility for their actions will likely avoid addressing deeper issues, leaving you to carry the emotional weight alone. Choose relationships where accountability is a shared value, ensuring that both partners are committed to growth and harmony. Remember, a willingness to admit mistakes and take responsibility isn't just a sign of respect, it's a foundation for building a strong, lasting connection. 5. Emotional unavailability. Emotional unavailability is a subtle but incredibly damaging red flag in any relationship. It's the inability or unwillingness of a person to engage with their emotions in a healthy, honest way. Stoic philosophy teaches that true strength lies in self-mastery and emotional resilience, not in shutting down or avoiding feelings. In relationships, emotional unavailability can create an emotional distance that leaves one partner feeling isolated, unimportant, or even rejected. Imagine this. You're opening up to someone about your day, your hopes, or your fears, and instead of receiving empathy or understanding, you're met with silence, indifference, or a change of subject. Over time, this starts to feel like you're speaking to a wall rather than a person who cares about you. Emotional unavailability doesn't always manifest in extreme ways. It can be as subtle as a partner who refuses to have deep, meaningful conversations or someone who avoids vulnerability at all costs. History offers many examples of emotional unavailability's destructive potential. One case is the tragic love story of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. Despite their deep affection for each other, Prince Albert's reserved nature and reluctance to open up emotionally left Queen Victoria feeling emotionally neglected, contributing to her later years of isolation and mourning after his untimely death. The inability to emotionally connect and share vulnerabilities can lead to profound loneliness, even within a seemingly stable relationship. Even in literature, the theme of emotional unavailability plays a central role in the downfall of relationships. In F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, the character of Daisy Buchanan embodies emotional unavailability, choosing to remain distant and closed off to the genuine connection that could have existed with Gatsby. Her inability to confront her own feelings ultimately leads to tragedy. In real life, emotional unavailability can manifest in many ways. For instance, a partner might constantly keep you at arm's length when it comes to discussing important feelings or decisions. They may avoid conflict resolution, making it impossible to address issues openly and honestly. Emotional unavailability can also appear as a reluctance to be vulnerable or to show affection, leaving you unsure of where you stand in the relationship. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-awareness and emotional clarity. Seneca stated, "He who is brave is free." This concept relates to being open to vulnerability and embracing our emotions, instead of hiding or suppressing them. A person who is emotionally unavailable may be avoiding their own emotional work, and in doing so, they cannot offer you the emotional connection and support you need for a fulfilling relationship. Real relationships require emotional depth and transparency. When one person consistently withdraws or closes themselves off, it creates an imbalance where emotional intimacy cannot thrive. You deserve a partner who is willing to engage with you on a deeper level, share vulnerabilities, and build trust through honest emotional exchanges. To identify emotional unavailability, observe how your partner reacts to emotionally charged situations. Do they withdraw, deflect, or avoid meaningful discussions? Do they seem uncomfortable when you express your emotions or desires? If they cannot engage with you emotionally, or if they shut down every time things get serious, it's a red flag that should not be ignored. The Stoics encourage us to cultivate inner peace and emotional maturity, which includes being comfortable with our emotions and allowing others to be vulnerable with us as well. A relationship based on emotional availability fosters connection, trust, and mutual growth. Emotional unavailability may initially feel like a minor issue, but over time, it creates a significant gap in the relationship. Without emotional connection, a relationship lacks the foundation needed to withstand challenges and grow. Choose a partner who is willing to share their inner world with you, just as you should be willing to do the same. 6. Lack of accountability. One of the most dangerous red flags in dating is a lack of accountability. Accountability is the foundation of trust and respect in any relationship. Without it, there can be no real growth or stability. A person who avoids taking responsibility for their actions, words, or mistakes is not only unreliable but may also undermine your sense of security and well-being. The Stoics valued personal responsibility, understanding that the only control we have in life is over our own actions and decisions. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. This philosophy teaches that challenges, including the need to take responsibility for mistakes, are opportunities for growth. In a relationship, when someone refuses to be accountable for their actions, it creates an environment where the other person constantly feels like they're walking on eggshells. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner never owns up to their behavior, always blames others, or deflects criticism by shifting the focus back onto you. Over time, this can leave you feeling invalidated, frustrated, and trapped in a cycle of never-ending conflict. A clear example of the negative impact of lack of accountability can be seen in the tragic downfall of the infamous French queen, Marie Antoinette. As a leader, she was often criticized for her lavish spending while her people suffered in poverty. However, rather than accepting responsibility for her actions, she deflected the blame, leading to public outrage and eventually contributing to her downfall during the French Revolution. Had she taken accountability for her actions, she may have been able to maintain a healthier relationship with her people. In Mo. Without accountability, relationships become a battleground of finger-pointing and defensiveness. If a partner cannot acknowledge their mistakes or apologize when necessary, the relationship cannot evolve or improve. Trust erodes, and resentment builds, making it impossible to maintain a meaningful connection. In the Republic, Plato writes, "The first and best victory is to conquer self. To be conquered by self is of all things most shameful and vile. A person who lacks accountability demonstrates a refusal to grow and learn from their experiences, keeping themselves locked in the same patterns of behavior." If your partner cannot look inward and recognize their faults, they are not taking the necessary steps to better themselves for the relationship. As a result, you're left with a partner who may never change or grow. Accountability doesn't mean beating yourself up when things go wrong. Rather, it's about taking ownership of your actions and learning from mistakes. A person who values accountability is willing to confront difficult truths, make amends, and use those moments as a stepping stone for growth, both personally and within the relationship. To spot a lack of accountability, pay attention to how your partner responds when things go wrong. Are they quick to apologize, reflect on their actions, and make changes, or do they deflect, justify, or deny their responsibility? A partner who cannot hold themselves accountable is unlikely to make the necessary changes to improve the relationship, and you will continually be left to carry the emotional weight. When you date someone who refuses to acknowledge their mistakes, you create an imbalance in the relationship. Accountability is vital for mutual respect, trust, and healthy conflict resolution. Without it, the relationship will always feel uneven and unsafe. Don't settle for a partner who avoids responsibility. Choose one who is willing to own their actions, learn from their experiences, and grow with you. Conclusion. In dating, recognizing red flags like manipulation, dishonesty, and a lack of accountability is crucial to protecting your peace and emotional well-being. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we must remain grounded in our values and be discerning in who we allow into our lives. Relationships should be a source of mutual growth, support, and respect, not a battlefield where you constantly feel drained or deceived. Remember, a healthy partner will support your growth and challenge you to be better, just as you should do for them. Trust your instincts, and never settle for someone who doesn't treat you with the integrity you deserve. By understanding and recognizing these red flags early, you empower yourself to build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. If you found value in today's video, Be sure to hit the like button and share it with someone who could benefit from this message. And if you're ready to protect your energy and unlock your full potential, don't forget to subscribe for more insights like these. As always, keep striving for growth, and remember, you are the architect of your own life. Stay focused, stay strong, and keep building the life you deserve. See you in the next video.